What is nothing? No, I'm not talking about the new phone brand, Nothing. I mean nothing, literally. The absence of everything. Nothing. A word we use almost every day without much thought. But what does it truly mean? Is nothing just the absence of things? Is it an empty room, an empty mind, or the empty vacuum of space? Today we're going to dive into one of the strangest and most mysterious concepts known to humanity, the concept of nothing. And as we'll discover, nothing might just be one of the most complicated things to define. So what is nothing? If you ask a physicist, a philosopher, or even a child, you'll get completely different answers, and none of them are as straightforward as you might think. Let's start with something simple. Imagine you have an empty box. Is it filled with nothing? Well, not quite. The box isn't truly empty. It's filled with air, particles, photons, and even tiny bits of dust that float around. If you took an industrial vacuum and sucked out all of the air, you'd be left with what we call a vacuum. But even then, there's still something in that box. Space itself is something. It's a void, yes, but it's also a canvas on which things can be. In other words, it's not true nothing. And here's where things get even stranger, because even in a vacuum, there's still energy. There's a background buzz, virtual particles popping in and out of existence, and what scientists call quantum fluctuations. A sea of activity that's never completely still. Let's take it a step further. What about the void between the stars? Outer space, the ultimate emptiness. Surely that must be nothing, right? Well, not exactly. Even the emptiest parts of the universe contain something. Space is far from being just a vacant abyss. It's more like a complex fabric. This fabric is full of fields, gravitational fields, electromagnetic fields, and the mysterious dark energy that causes the universe to expand faster and faster. And then we have what physicists call quantum foam. Imagine zooming into the fabric of space to a level so tiny that everything appears blurry and unstable. This is quantum foam, a bubbling sea of virtual particles that appear and disappear at a scale smaller than an atom. They are so brief that we can hardly measure them, but they still play a fundamental role in the structure of our universe. In the world of quantum physics, even nothing is full of something. It's not just empty, it's alive with fluctuations and potential. Scientifically speaking, true nothing might be impossible to find, because even the absence of matter is still the presence of energy and possibility. But let's take a step away from physics for a moment and look at nothing from a philosophical perspective. What if nothing really existed? No universe, no time, no space, a complete absence of everything. This is where things get interesting and a bit overwhelming. Imagine for a moment a universe where there's absolutely nothing, not even the concept of time or space. Could we even imagine such a state? If there was truly nothing, would there even be a perspective from which to observe it? The idea of absolute nothingness is paradoxically impossible for us to grasp. Every time we try to think of nothing, we still end up picturing something. It could be a black void, a blank screen, or an empty white canvas. But all of these images are something. The concept of nothing might be beyond human comprehension. It's like trying to visualize infinity. Our brains simply aren't built to understand it fully. And maybe that's why nothingness is such a fascinating mystery. We can get close to it, but we can never fully grasp it. The idea of nothing also has a profound existential side. Throughout history, people have grappled with questions of purpose and meaning. What if there's nothing beyond this life? What if, in the grand scheme of things, our existence is surrounded by nothingness? For existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, nothingness isn't just an abstract idea. It's a key to understanding our freedom. Sartre believed that we are condemned to be free, that we exist in a universe without inherent meaning, and therefore it's entirely up to us to create our own purpose. To some, this idea is terrifying. The thought of a universe filled with nothing, without inherent meaning or purpose, can be overwhelming. It can make us feel small, like a speck in a vast, indifferent cosmos. But for others, it's liberating. If nothing is predetermined, then we're not bound by someone else's plan or expectations. We have the power to define ourselves, to take the emptiness and fill it with our own meaning, values, and purpose. It's in facing the nothingness that we find the freedom to be whatever we choose to be. Interestingly, in some philosophies, embracing nothingness is a key to enlightenment. In Buddhist philosophy, there's the concept of shunyata, often translated as emptiness or void. But this isn't the kind of emptiness that should be feared. It's about letting go of the illusions, attachments, and ideas that prevent us from seeing reality as it truly is. Shunyata teaches that everything is interconnected and that nothing has an independent, permanent essence. By embracing this kind of nothingness, we learn to accept the transient nature of all things. We see that what we often think of as fixed or permanent is, in reality, always changing. Embracing emptiness means seeing the world without the illusions we impose on it and finding a profound peace in understanding the temporary nature of all things. In this way, nothing becomes not a void to be feared, but a liberating understanding of the world's true nature. But let's shift back to science. When we think about the origins of our universe, one question comes to mind. Was there ever truly nothing before the Big Bang? The truth is, we just don't know. The Big Bang Theory tells us that the universe expanded from a very hot, dense point. But what happened before that point is still shrouded in mystery. Was there an empty void? Or was there another kind of something that existed before everything we see today? Some theories propose that the universe could be cyclical, expanding, contracting, and expanding again, meaning there was never a true beginning. Others suggest a multiverse, where our universe is just one of countless others, each bubbling up from a vast cosmic sea of possibilities. If these theories are correct, then there was never truly nothing. Instead, there has always been something, a different form of existence, a different kind of reality. It challenges the idea that there could ever be a complete absence of everything. It's as though existence itself is inevitable, always taking some form, never truly slipping into nothingness. One of the biggest philosophical questions tied to nothing is this: why is there something instead of nothing? Why does anything exist at all? This question has haunted scientists, philosophers, and theologians for centuries. Is existence simply a brute fact, a mystery without an explanation? Or is existence inevitable, because absolute nothingness is an impossibility? And then there's the intriguing notion that perhaps existence is statistically more likely than nothingness. In a cosmic lottery, existence may have won simply because it could. It's a question that may never have a definitive answer, and maybe that's part of what makes it so profoundly captivating. Its sheer mystery compels us to keep asking, keep exploring, and keep imagining what nothing could mean. While the idea of nothing might sound abstract, it's something we encounter every day in our lives. The empty canvas before a painter begins, the silence between musical notes, the space between breaths. Nothing often serves as the foundation upon which something is created. In art, in music, in meditation, nothing isn't a void to be feared. It's a space filled with potential. It's the silence that makes sound meaningful, the blankness that invites creation, the pause that gives intention. Without nothing, there can be no something. The two are forever intertwined, like a cosmic dance that gives depth and meaning to everything we see, hear, and feel. So, what is nothing? It turns out that nothing is far more elusive than we might have imagined. In science, philosophy, and even in our daily lives, nothing challenges us to rethink our understanding of existence itself. Whether it's the strange quantum fluctuations in a vacuum, the philosophical impossibility of absolute nothingness, or the existential void we fill with meaning, nothing is never really nothing. It's full of possibilities, full of questions, full of beauty that shapes our understanding of everything. Perhaps the true beauty of nothing lies not in its emptiness, but in what it inspires us to imagine, to question, and to create. In the end, nothing might just be the foundation of everything. If you enjoyed this exploration into the mysterious concept of nothing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us at Quest IQ. We love unraveling the most puzzling questions about existence, the universe, and what it all means for us. Sometimes it's the spaces in between, the silences, the emptiness, that hold the greatest potential. So take a moment to embrace nothing and see where it leads you.